Across the frozen valley, a natural ice bridge begins to weaken. Time and pressure thin the frozen crossing. Below, icy water waits beneath fragile ice.
Cracks reveal the bridge's growing weakness.
Reinforcement begins with stone and weight. Stone fills the fractures in the ice. From above, the machines appear fragile themselves. Weight is added where ice alone cannot hold.
Balance is critical on thinning ice.
Pressure turns loose material into structure.
The bridge is tested carefully.
Every stone must sit just right.
The reinforced section slowly grows.
Weight locks the surface together.
The polar wind never rests. The most fragile point demands the most care. Layer by layer, strength returns. Old ice meets new support. The reinforced bridge begins to hold.
The final weakness is sealed.
A stable crossing now spans the frozen gap. Every meter is earned on ice. The far side comes within reach.
The bridge holds firm.
Strength remains after the work is done. Precision ensures safety.
The danger zone fades behind them.
Final touches secure the crossing. The reinforcement is complete. Tiny machines protect a giant frozen crossing.
The ice stands stronger than before.
Cold reshapes, but does not break it now.
The work fades into the frozen distance. The ice settles into silence.
Across the frozen gap,
The bridge endures.
At the edge of the polar world, snow and ice have sealed the way forward.
Access to the research station has vanished beneath frozen layers.
What was once a clear route is now lost to the cold.
The surface is hard, shaped by wind and time. Snow and ice are removed piece by piece. Clearing begins where movement was frozen.
From above, the machines are barely visible in the endless white.
Drifting ice blocks the last remaining access. Balance is fragile on frozen ground.
Each layer is compressed for stability.
Hidden dangers must be removed.
The first section is tested.
Pressure turns snow into solid ground. The cold pushes back, but the work continues.
Even frozen giants must be moved.
The truck carries the cold away. Base returns to the frozen surface. The station comes back within reach. No detail is ignored.
A clear route now cuts through the ice.
Every meter is earned in the polar cold.
The final obstacles are cleared.
Access is restored.
Behind them, the ice holds firm.
Even snow remembers their passage.
Precision keeps the path safe.
The danger zone fades away.
The route is complete.
Tiny machines restore access in a giant frozen world.
Work fades into the polar distance.
the ice settles once more. In the polar cold, a safe path now remains.
Cracks open wide, revealing the depth of the frozen world.
Every fallen block becomes an obstacle. The tiny truck carries the weight of broken ice.
Slowly, the path begins to clear. From above, the machines are barely visible against the glacier.
The glacier continues to move, even after the collapse.
Balance is fragile on shifting ice. Broken ice becomes the foundation for safe passage.
The path is shaped carefully, layer by layer.
Sharp edges must be broken before travel is safe.
The first crossing is tested.
Pressure turns fragments into stability. They move forward into the frozen chaos.
The glacier has fallen, but the work continues.
Even giant blocks can be moved with patience.
The truck carries danger away from the path. Clear space returns where chaos once ruled.
The route grows longer and stronger. The glacier never truly rests.
Small dangers must be removed.
A safe line now cuts through the collapse.
Every meter is earned. The path holds.
Behind them, order replaces collapse.
Even ice remembers their passage.
Precision matters on frozen ground.
The danger zone begins to fade.
Final touches bring stability.
The crossing is complete.
Tiny machines leave a lasting mark.
Cold erases quickly, but not completely.
Work fades into the frozen distance. In a frozen world of constant change, a safe passage remains.
In the heart of the city, ground has opened up with where a subway entrance was.
Two tiny machines prepare to rebuild where the ground has failed. Every fallen piece must be lifted before the rebuilding can begin.
Bit by bit, the ruins are carried away.
From above, the scale of the collapse dwarfs the tiny machines below. The ground leans dangerously where the collapse has torn it open. The rebuilding begins with a single stone placed at the crater's edge.
A base is needed where none remains.
The broken edges must be cleared before new ground can be shaped.
Every placement matters when the ground beneath is broken.
The truck tests the beginning of the new descent.
Slowly, a path takes shape where none existed.
Large pieces must be pulled away to prevent further collapse.
More stone, more strength for a safer descent.
Bit by bit, the machines advance into the collapsed entrance.
Stability must return before progress can continue.
The ramp grows, linking surface and depth.
Gaps are filled, one stone at a time. Loose edges are trimmed to prevent further danger.
Above, the city continues. Below, work restores what was lost.
Obstacles are dragged aside to clear the descent.
The descent becomes a working pathway once again.
Weight turns loose stone into stable ground.
The ramp is nearly complete, strong enough for deeper work. Every fragment removed is a step toward clarity. A floor begins to reappear beneath the ruin.
Their work below is done. The surface awaits final clearing.
The surface is restored, one careful sweep at a time. A final stone, closes the last of the broken edges.
In the shadow of towering buildings, the tiny machines sleep.
Two tiny machines wake at the edge of the cooled lava, ready to carve a road through frozen fire. The first block waits at the threshold, a shard of the lava field's broken skin. Each stone that moves aside makes a thin opening for the road to begin.
The bulldozer steps forward, pressing broken rock toward the edges to mark a rough line.
Around them, the cooled lava rises in spikes and teeth, towering over their tiny frames. The ground is cracked and hollow in places, hiding sudden drops beneath thin crusts. Around old lava pits, the land leans and falls away, demanding a safer line. To climb the jagged ground, they build small ramps, softening the sharp descent.
The excavator climbs first, testing the new surface before the heavier blade follows.
On one side, the rock rises. On the other, it falls away into deep cuts.
An old lava channel still twists across their path, a river of stone now frozen in place.
The surface is twisted and brittle, patterns of heat carved into stone. Behind the cutting arm, the blade presses the broken rocks into a rough but steady floor.
Under each track, the sharp edges soften, pressed into a more forgiving path.
From above, a faint line begins to show, a road taking shape across the black field. The bulldozer tests the bridge of rocks, making sure the gap will hold their weight. The ground is pocked with old bubbles of lava, each one a place where a tire could vanish. Sharp rims are broken and knocked inward, turning dangerous edges into gentler slopes. Between jagged fields, a narrow corridor of safer ground stretches farther across the lava. From above, the road grows longer, a pale thread weaving across the cooled lava. Far above, the volcano sits quiet for now, its last fire hardened beneath their tracks.
Behind them, the densest spikes and pits fall out of view as they move toward gentler ground.
The ruts that once caught every wheel are now packed tight with stone. The arm smooths the broken plates, preparing the way for the blade to press them down. Side by side, the two tiny machines roll over the path they have carved from stone.
Across the lava field, a thin line now splits the broken rock, leading toward open land.
They roll toward softer ground, leaving the sharpest rocks behind them.
shadow of a silent volcano, the road remains, a thin promise of passage across a field of cooled fire. After the storm has passed, the land lies scattered with broken branches, mud, and pools of water.
Two tiny machines wake, ready to reopen a road that the storm tried to erase.
The first task is simple. Move what the wind has thrown in the way. Each branch dragged aside reveals a little more of the buried road. From above, the road is only a faint line beneath branches, mud, and pools left by the storm.
In places, the road has softened and sunk beneath the weight of the water. The mud that once rushed downhill is lifted and gathered, one bucket at a time.
The truck carries the hillside away, clearing space for the road to breathe again. Every meter offers a new problem: water, wood, or earth tangled together. The storm has laid whole trees across the road like fallen gates. Roots that once held the soil now cling to the road, refusing to let it go. From above, the cleared strip runs alongside the wreckage, slowly pushing it back. Where the water has bitten into the road, they pull soil back to fill the gaps. On the soft shoulders, the ground tilts and sags, needing new strength to hold the road. Shovelful by shovelful, they rebuilt the edges so the road can hold its shape again. Across the landscape, the road emerges again, a thin thread stitched through the storm's remains. In the lowest places, the storm's water still lies, refusing to move on.
They build a narrow spine of firm ground, lifting the road above the standing water.
Even the ditches must be cleared, or the next rain will bring the water back to the road.
From above, the road and ditch work together again, each doing its part to carry the storm away. Now, most of the road lies open, its surface marked but no longer buried. Beside the road, the ditches quietly carry away what the storm left behind. Across the landscape, the broken line has become a road again.
The machines roll onward, leaving behind a path that others can safely follow.
Behind them, the storm's chaos is still visible, but no longer blocking the way.
The last of the water drains away, following the paths the storm tried to erase. In the quiet that follows the storm, the road remains, a thin promise of return for a land.
At the foot of a frozen giant, two tiny machines wait.
Beneath the towering wall, the machines awaken, ready to carve a path through a frozen valley.
Their work begins small, lifting the first pieces of shattered ice from the road.
Piece by piece, they clear a narrow line where wheels and tracks can pass.
The bulldozer takes the front, pressing the broken surface into something they can cross.
Above them, the glacier creaks and stretches, its cracks widening in the cold air.
From above, they are tiny marks beneath cliffs that hold centuries of frozen weight. A low tremor runs through the valley, as if the glacier is taking a breath.
When the air clears, the glacier's face has changed, and a maze of shattered ice blocks the way.
The ground tilts beneath pillars of ice, each one leaning toward the fragile path.
The excavator steps forward, choosing which pieces to move and which to leave.
To find a way through, they must choose a narrow line between the fallen blocks.
Behind the excavator, the bulldozer presses loose pieces aside, widening the fragile road.
Each edge of ice is a tooth on the valley floor, and the blade must pass without breaking them loose.
From above, their path weaves through the maze like a thread between frozen walls.
High above, new fractures etch across the glacier, warning that it has not finished moving.
They hurry through the shadow on the tower. Would fall to the next tremor.
In the narrowest space, they fold in their steel limbs and slip between walls of frozen weight. Beneath the white surface, deep cracks wait, where a careless step would disappear.
The bulldozer draws a low wall of snow, a small edge between safe and empty space.
Across the broken valley, two tiny machines trace a line through the ruins of the glacier.
Where the ground drops away, the bulldozer builds a ramp so the road can continue.
The excavator tests the new descent, carrying the path deeper into the collapsed field.
Block by block, the frozen obstacles are lifted away from the road's thin spine. Behind each lift, a push follows, widening the path so it can hold more than a single machine.
From above, the line they have carved glows lighter against the broken blue-white field.
Ahead, the valley opens wider, and the glacier's shadow falls back behind them.
Now, between the ice piles, a corridor wide enough for a road runs across the fallen glacier.
Their tracks mark where the road has begun, a pattern pressed into ice and snow.
Behind them lies a broken field, now stitched with a single, fragile line of passage.
The glacier still towers above, but its latest collapse now hides a path traced by tiny machines.
They leave the shattered edge behind, carrying their path with them into the open valley.
In the stillness that follows, the ice dust settles back onto a road that did not exist before.
In a valley carved by ice over ages, the road remains, a thin
After the fire has passed, silence settles over a forest of ash and shadows.
Two tiny machines wake, ready to carve a path through the ruins. One by one, the road is cleared of what the fire has broken.
The bulldozer takes the lead, pushing the forest's ashes away from the path. Above them, the skeleton of the forest stands, silent and scorched.
Charred roots cling stubbornly to the road, holding onto the earth even after the flames. Behind the blade, a faint line of order appears in the blackened ground.
The excavator pulls down what might fall before it can block the path again.
The hillside leans over the road, but together the machines straighten the way beneath it.
Piece by piece, they move the remnants of the forest away from the road's narrow line. The road itself bears scars, sagging under roots burned hollow by the fire. Some scars are heavier than others, blocking the way entirely.
The excavator lifts, the bulldozer pushes, sharing the weight of the fallen tree.
Together, they slide the past aside, making room for what must come next. Beneath the blackened surface, the ground waits to breathe again.
Across the hillside, a road begins to reappear among the ruins.
On each bend, the machines carefully shape the path so it can hold together once more.
Roots that once anchored trees now give way, making room for new growth someday.
The hillside is still scarred, but a safer line has been drawn across it.
Side by side, the difference between what was and what is becoming grows clearer.
Fresh track marks trace a line where the forest road breathes again.
In the middle of the ash, the machines pause, their work written into the road behind them.
Across the valley, the forest is still dark, but the path through it shines a little brighter.
The machines turn back, leaving a stronger road than the one they found.
Behind them, the ash settles again, quieter but no longer blocking the way.
Their work is small against the scale of the burned forest, but it is a beginning.
In the hush that follows the fire, the road remains, a thin promise of return to a wounded forest.
At the foot of the mountains, melting snow spills into the valley, turning solid ground into cold, rising water.
Two tiny machines wake to rebuild a road that now sleeps beneath icy water. Stone by stone, they will lift the ground above the freezing meltwater.
The excavator gathers weight, and the dump truck waits to carry it where it's needed most.
The truck rolls toward the water's edge, small against the spreading flood.
Cold meltwater breathes mist into the air, creeping closer to the last dry ground.
Under the pale water, the road still lies, hidden but not yet gone.
Rocks tumble into the icy flood, the first steps toward a higher ground.
Each stone sinks down, turning depth into something firm enough to stand on. The excavator steps closer, ready to build upward from beneath the waterline. A narrow back of stone grows across the flooded ground, one load at a time. From above, the line of stone thickens where land and water meet.
They inch forward on a spine of rock, with cold water waiting on either side.
The flood reaches for the wheels, but the trucks climb just ahead of it.
In the middle of the flood, a small island of rock begins to take shape.
From the slopes above, water keeps coming, carving paths through the soft ground.
Each stone finds its place, locking into the surface that will hold beneath the wheels. Across the flooded plain, a narrow road of stone now rises above the water. At the edge of the island, the machines push the firm ground further into the flood. Water still finds narrow paths, but the gaps grow smaller with every stone they place.
The valley floor is still flooded, but a clear line now crosses its cold surface.
High above, the snow still waits to melt, but below, the ground holds firm once more.
From above, the difference is clear. Where water once ruled, stone now shares the valley floor.
Now they cross the middle of the flood as if it were solid ground.
Under their weight, the pathway stays firm, a bridge of rock through the meltwater. At last, the road reaches firm ground on the far side of the flood.
The valley is still cold and wet, but a new line now holds.
In the wake of their passage, the mist lifts, revealing the path beneath the cold air.
Their work is just a narrow line of stone, but it is enough to hold the road above the
In the quiet of the thawing valley, the road remains, a thin promise of passage above the rising meltwater.
On the edge of the sea, two tiny machines prepare to face the rising tide.
Stone by stone, a wall will rise between land and water.
Together, the machines gather the pieces for a barrier against the waves.
With every passing minute, the sea creeps closer to the fragile shore.
The truck rumbles forward, small against the reach of the open sea.
The excavator steps carefully closer, placing each stone where it can matter most.
The shoreline tilts under the power of each incoming wave. Bit by bit, a rough wall grows, bending with the shape of the shore.
Their rhythm settles, gather, carry, place, repeat.
But the sea still threads its way through openings in the wall.
The tide climbs higher, and the tiny machines answer with their own rising pace.
The truck approaches the line where earth meets water and refuses to retreat.
The sea taps at the tires, testing the limits of where the machines can stand.
A surge rolls in, throwing its weight against the unfinished barrier.
The world seems to tilt with each surge, but the excavator keeps its slow, steady arc.
Wrapped in salt mist, the tiny machines move like patient workers in a giant workshop. With each load, the wall grows deeper and stronger against the tide. Stones lock together, turning loose pieces into a single solid face.
Seen from afar, only a thin, rippled line separates land from the restless water. Behind the stones, the ground stays dry as the tide presses harder against the front.
The excavator reaches out one more time, closing the smallest of openings.
The sea still climbs and falls, but now it must turn back upon itself. The tide reaches its peak, testing the wall one last time.
The tide begins to fall, its reach shortened by the new stone barrier.
The machines trace the length of their work from one end of the wall to the other. Behind the stones, the ground stays firm, marked only by the tracks of their passing. The shoreline holds steady, no longer slipping away with each wave. In the vast space of sea and sky, their work is small but unresting.
They rest for a moment at the water's edge, listening to the quieter voice of the tide.
One stone holds its place, part of a wall built by tiny hands of steel. The machines turn inland, leaving the sea to test what they have made.
In the quiet that follows, the seawall remains, a thin promise of safety against the turning tide.
The desert wakes in silence as two tiny machines begin their day's work. The first gusts arrive, pushing thin sheets of sand across their path.
A narrow path is pressed firm, a fragile line resisting the shifting dunes.
The sky grows pale and heavy, its blue fading under a veil of sand.
What was empty stillness becomes moving sand, alive with invisible force. Every movement is heavy and precise, carving order into chaos, grain by grain. The bulldozer draws a sharp, pushing back the desert one blade width at a time. On the horizon, the storm assembles, an advancing wall of dust and wind. Against the flow of sand, the roller presses the road into something that can endure.
At the edge of the blade, the desert stacks up and falls away in endless waves.
Within minutes, the road is buried, then reborn beneath the drum of the roller. From above, they are almost nothing. Two moving points in a storm that fills the earth. Yet even beneath dunes that rise like mountains, the bulldozer keeps cutting its path. Where the dune spills onto the road, the roller turns collapse into a firm surface. The storm no longer sits on the horizon. It has swallowed the sky. In the heart of the storm, the world shrinks to a few meters of road at a time. From a distance, they almost vanish, but they never stop moving. Dust clings to every surface, softening sharp metal into muted shapes. The world tilts under the storm's force, yet the machine leans into the drift and pushes. Even half buried, the roller carves a track through the drifting sands. Slowly, the storm loosens its grip, and shapes return to the horizon. The sky opens once more, revealing a calmer, cleaner horizon.
Where the storm once raged, the road now lies firm beneath the roller's path.
From above, the storm's scars are visible, but so is the line that survived it.
The tiny machines move on, leaving a stable path behind them. Steel and rubber carry their weight forward, leaving order pressed into the sand.
The storm has passed, but the path it tried to erase stands firm.
In a world this vast, their work seems small, but its mark stretches for miles.
Even after the storm, Each grain still moves, but the road holds its shape.
In the quiet that follows, the road remains, a thin promise of passage in a moving sea of sand.
In the heart of the industrial district, a mighty foundation waits to be carved by the tiniest crew.
The ground drops steeply, towering over the little excavator below.
First, a safe path must be shaped.
The tiny excavator enters a world far larger than itself.
The earth here is immense and ancient.
Each scoop is a mountain for a machine this small.
The loader arrives to carry the burden upward. Together, they work in a steady rhythm of dig and carry. The climb upward is steep and demanding for such a small machine.
Above, the dump truck stands ready to haul the earth away. Tiny wheels roll away carrying enormous weight compared to their size. Down below, the excavator becomes almost invisible against the vast pit floor.
Stability must be shaped with precision as the pit grows deeper.
A firm base ensures safety for what comes next. The dig pushes downward beyond previous limits.
The loader resumes its steady cycle up and down the ramp.
Load after load, the foundation deepens and widens.
Another careful cycle of removal is completed. The hole grows vast, its scale overpowering the miniature crew. Walls rise like cliffs on all sides, towering over the tiny machine.
Precision guides every cut at the deepest point of the foundation. The bulldozer guards the edges against collapse. Load after load, the earth shifts into its new arrangement. A level platform is shaped for the skyscraper to rise. Precision defines the final touches at the bottom of the enormous hole.
The ground below now holds strength for what will stand above it.
Their tiny forms rest after monumental effort beneath the surface. The scale of their work reveals the depth of their achievement. Their journey upward begins after the job is done.
Back in the world above, their mission is complete. Below lies the birthplace of a future giant tower.
In a vast industrial world, even the smallest machines can shape the sky. In the middle of a busy city, a tiny team is called to rescue a tired bridge over a powerful canal. Time and water have cracked its surface, leaving gaps above the rushing current.
First, every weak piece is checked and marked for removal.
Damaged boards are carefully lifted away from the water.
The dump truck collects everything the bridge can no longer hold. Every crumb that falls reminds them how close the water is.
Soon, one half of the bridge stands bare, ready for a new start.
The waste leaves, making room for stronger pieces to come in.
Edges are trimmed clean so new parts can lock into place. Fresh material arrives, new boards, clean and strong.
Each new piece is moved one by one with care. The first plank stretches across the gap, bridging water and air.
Pressure and balance decide whether it fits just right.
Reinforcing beams bring new strength to the thin line over the water.
Together, crane and excavator guide every support into place. Board by board, the empty half of the bridge fills in. Next comes the layer that binds everything together.
The mix is delivered where wood and metal meet.
Every gap is sealed, so water and time can't tear them apart.
While one side sets, the team moves to rescue the rest. The same careful work repeats on the opposite side.
Old and new stand side by side for a moment in time.
Fresh boards return, this time to complete the crossing.
Steel and wood work together to find balance. Across the moving water, a new path slowly takes shape.
The final pieces slide into their waiting spaces.
The last seam closes, and the deck becomes one united surface.
A finishing layer gives feet and wheels a safe grip. From one side to the other, the new surface flows as one line. Below, the water pushes hard. Above, the bridge now stands firm.
The current continues its rush, but the crossing above no longer fears it.
Their work here is small in ties, but great for everyone who will cross. Soon, the bridge will reopen to footsteps and wheels.
A clean line of planks and beams now shares the load across the canal. Across strong water and busy streets, a tiny repair keeps the city connected. In a wide and restless city, even the smallest machines can quietly rebuild the way forward.
In the heart of the city, a tiny fleet arrives to transform a tired park into a colorful new space.
The old ground is uneven, dull, and ready for renewal.
The excavator removes the worn surface to make room for fresh colors.
Every strip of old turf is carefully lifted away.
The dump truck collects what the park no longer needs.
Load after load, the old ground disappears from the park.
Soon, a clean canvas of soil opens up in the middle of the city.
The loader smoothed the new base where colors will shine.
Uneven spots are pressed flat for a neat foundation. Fresh, colourful soil arrives to bring life back to the ground. A layer of fertile earth pours into the heart of the park. The new soil spreads like paint across a canvas. Careful passes blend the ground into a smooth, even field. The roller arrives to lock the new foundation in place.
Each pass presses the soil tight, ready for new life on top.
Tiny grains pack together, forming a firm, stable bed. Next, a carpet of bright green arrives to cover the dark earth. The first roll of new life is carefully lifted into place. A fresh stripe of green unrolls across the park. Strip by strip, the brown field turns into a green patchwork. The roller settles the grass into the earth below. Even the smallest details receive careful attention. Now it is time for trees and colour to join the scene. Tiny holes are dug where shade will one day fall. Each tree is moved into place with careful, gentle nudges.
Roots slide into the ground, ready to grow.
Rings of soil hug the trunks, holding the trees steady. Colourful flowers and mulch arrive to brighten the corners. Flower beds form in tidy lines along the paths.
Step by step, the tiny machines have painted a new park into the city centre.
The last passes seal paths and grass in place. With their work nearly complete, the machines begin to leave the stage.
Behind them, a fresh green heart beats in the middle of the city.
The last truck and roller depart, their marks left in the soil and stone.
Where mud once dominated, green and color now welcome every visitor.
In a wide stone city, a small, renewed park reminds everyone how tiny machines can create a big change. The tiny construction fleet arrives at the flooded city canal.
Their mission:
build a miniature flood barrier strong enough to protect the city.
The excavator starts by cutting into the weakened bank.
Every scoop makes space for a stronger foundation.
Loose earth is lifted out of the water's reach.
The dump truck moves in to carry away the excess soil. Load after load, the unstable earth is removed. The first haul leaves the site, clearing the way for the barrier.
The trench beside the canal is widened to hold the flood wall.
The loader cleans and shapes the top of the embankment.
Those spots are filled to create a stable surface for the wall. Across the whole stretch, the tiny team works with a single purpose. Sharp corners are softened to guide the water smoothly. Every rough edge can create turbulence and erode the bank.
Weak spots are cut away before they fail. A protective layer of stone pours along the water's edge.
Each stone settles into place, ready to resist the flow.
Bit by bit, both sides of the canal gain new strength.
Final passes tidy the bank and clear loose debris.
The channel deepens to carry higher volumes of stormwater. Water now glides between firm, reinforced sides.
The work zone stays busy, but every move is deliberate and controlled. Drainage branches are widened to prevent dangerous bottlenecks.
The last stretch of the barrier receives its armor.
Weight compresses the stones into a solid, interlocked layer.
From end to end, the canal now guides floodwater with control.
The flow is smoother, reducing strain on the City's drains. With the main work done, the tiny machines inspect the length of the wall.
Water now follows a clear, reinforced route through the city.
The system stands stronger and ready for the next heavy rain.
Stone and soil hold fast against every touch of water.
Their work may be tiny in size, but huge in impact. The last truck rolls away, leaving a safer city behind.
As the day ends, the new flood barrier quietly does its job.
Rain will come again, but the city is better prepared.
In a wide world, even the smallest machines can protect an entire city.
Tiny machines gather at the overflowing channel, ready to reshape the flow.
Every scoop makes space for stronger foundations.
Loose soil is lifted out of the water's reach. The dump truck waits to carry waste soil away. Load after load, the old material is cleared.
The first truck leaves to dispose of the excess earth.
The trench is widened to carry more water safely. The loader cleans the banks, shaping smooth edges. Along the whole line, tiny machines move with purpose.
Curves are softened to guide the water smoothly. Every rough edge can cause turbulence and erosion.
The excavator trims away the weak spots.
Fresh gravel arrives to armor the new drainage path.
A protective layer is poured along the water's edge.
Each stone settles to resist future floods.
The loader spreads the layer into a uniform shield.
Bit by bit, both sides of the channel are reinforced. Final passes tidy the banks and clear loose debris.
The channel deepens to carry higher volumes of water.
Water tests the new path, sliding over stable ground.
The work zone is busy, but every move is controlled.
Drainage branches are widened to prevent bottlenecks. The last stretch of the bank receives his armor.
Weight compresses the stones into a solid layer.
From end to end, the channel now guides water with control.
The flow is smoother, reducing strain on the city's drains.
With the work nearly done, the machines move to inspect the length. Water now follows a clear, reinforced route. The system is stronger and ready for the next storm.
Stones hold fast against every touch of water.
Their work may be tiny in size, but huge.